Yo, 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 yo. Yo, we in here. Who is here is the question. I see Steve is here. There's a lot of comments from Steve. What up, Steve? It's Jules and Stephanie is in the building Sunday morning. What up, the Pebble? Kevin Stefanski was hired by the Atlanta Falcons. Breaking news last night. I believe it was last night. Hit the like when you come in. Hit the share. I'm not wasting no time this morning. If you're here, you're here. Let's get right into it. Good morning, Tweak Pat. The second coach is off the board. Kevin Stefanski is an Atlanta Falcon. And we'll talk about everybody else. Harry, what up? Selma, what up? I see your comment, my guy. I don't know who banned you or whatever, or who blocked you, but it wasn't me. You're back. Tupac Shador. Let's talk about it. The Atlanta Falcons has a new coach in Kevin Stefanski, two-time coach of the year, former Minnesota offensive coordinator, former Cleveland Browns head coach, and now Atlanta Falcon head coach. He will no longer be talked about on this channel probably until now. How do we feel about it, Browns fans? Listen, I think he is going to do good things in Atlanta. That may not be a popular thing to say. Let's not have, what have you done for me lately? He started off doing good things in Cleveland, okay? He took the Browns to the playoffs, coach of the year his first year. Now, it didn't end good for Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, but it did start off well. So I do believe for Kevin Stefanski, Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix Jr., reunited with Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. He does have weapons in Atlanta already in his disposal. How are you doing, Myron? AAA. Spencer Moody, Sherl. How are you? So he does have weapons at his disposal. Everybody was saying Kevin Stefanski is going to get hired. So I am not shocked. I am not appalled that this happened. That he is the second coach off the board. I said this. Sometimes you just need a new voice in a locker room. And I thought when it comes to Cleveland, they need a new voice in the locker room. And this is what we have. So I wish nothing but luck for Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. I have no ill will towards Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta for the Falcons. Now, lucky for Kevin Stefanski, he walks into a terrible division. The Carolina Panthers, not the greatest team in the world. Everybody didn't think they'd be in the playoffs. When you win that division, you get a home playoff game. You can win the division with 9 wins. The New Orleans Saints are not a good football team. Tyler Show, now, he showed good things. He's their future at quarterback. Then you have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We all thought they were going to the playoffs this year. They backslided this year. The Fighting Baker Mayfields. They didn't make the playoffs. They got beat out by Carolina. So it's not a very good division. You can win it with 9 wins. Kevin Stefanski is walking into a good situation, I believe. So, best of luck to him. Honestly, I think he might kick butt with the Falcons. Wish him the best, but it was time for a change. I did hear about Bo Nix, Harry. So sad for the Denver Bronco fans. Going to the AFC Championship game without your your 2-year young quarterback. That sucks for them. I think had Haslam not been so involved, he would have been fine here. It happens. A new start will be a good for both sides. So nothing but love for Kevin. I don't want to carry around mean thoughts about anyone. Hey, Corey, I can't believe they hired him. Cheryl, if you were listening to the things I was saying, you wouldn't be shocked, Cheryl. I said this would happen. Now, I didn't say Atlanta. I didn't know where he was going, Cheryl, but I knew he would get hired. Now, speaking of coaches, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Stefanski was hired. Another coach who was hired, John Harbaugh. Now, it was a pipe dream thinking he would come to Cleveland. I didn't think it would happen. I knew it would be a long shot because Cleveland is just not a bona fide coach's destination. We have to keep it real as Browns fans. It's not. But was it a missed opportunity? Losing out on John Harbaugh. He was the number one coach. He was the number one guy. Now I know he has ties in Cleveland. He grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. But sometimes just having heartwarming stories is not enough to land a coach. You have to have a competent organization. You have to have competent ownership. And you have to have pieces that a coach wants. Was it a missed opportunity, or do you believe, hey, it is what it is? He's going to New York. Best of luck to him in the Fighting Jackson Darts. Let me know. Did I miss anything? Stanford might need another QB, though. He can't take Gabriel for a third. Gabriel to Atlanta. What up, Smuggle Kitten? Tomlin's next one to go. I don't think Tomlin's coaching this year. I believe Mike Tomlin said he will not coach this upcoming season. Plus, to get Mike Tomlin, they still have his rights. So you might have to trade to get a Mike Tomlin. So, but from what I believe, Mike Tomlin will not be coaching this year. So, a high-profile coach like that, not on the board. So 0-2 in the boxes. Best of blessings to him. It is what it is. I'm kind of excited to watch Dart and Scatterboo. I think it is a missed opportunity. I still say Pittsburgh started it, so bring back Kitchens. Because at this point, why not? We're going to talk about, maybe not Freddie, but we're going to talk about something in that lines a little bit later. I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity just because, when you have a bona fide coach, I think you do whatever it takes to get him in the building. But the Browns didn't even get to interview John Harbaugh. A lot of teams didn't. He took his interview with the Giants, signed the dotted line. So I think not being even able to interview him is a missed opportunity. But I'm not going to lose sleep with John Harbaugh not being coach of the Cleveland Browns. Big Dollar C. He said that donation train, the train's broken, but he's trying to revive it. Thank you for the $10 donation, my brother. Appreciate you.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thank you, my good sir. You are greatly appreciated. Corey for the next Browns coach. Not a missed opportunity per se. Might have just not been the right time, or maybe his love for the Browns might make it different to coach here. All right. Loving it. Like what I'm hearing. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Share it out to the world. We are now looking for the coach, the next coach of the Cleveland Browns. This is the part of the season I hate. I am not an off-season person. It is downtime. It sucks for me. I hate it. I wish we could have games every week. Now, I know it's not good for the health of the players. I get it. But I hate this portion of the season when it's just a bunch of, I heard this, I heard that. Did this happen? But here we are. And talking about what ifs, maybes, here we go. There is a man that a lot of people love who could be the next coach for the Browns. Jim Schwartz. Does he have the advantage? Does he have the inside track to be the next coach of the Cleveland Browns? He has a second interview with the Cleveland Browns. I believe Jim Schwartz is 59 years old, current defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. Fans love Jim Schwartz, what he's done with this defense for the most part. in Cleveland. But does he have the inside track? Him and Todd Monken both have second interviews scheduled with the Cleveland Browns. As of right now, they are the only two who have second interviews scheduled with the Cleveland Browns. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. That's for you to decide. Todd Monken kind of scares me. I don't want Todd Monken. I don't see the upside in Todd Monken. We had him as an offensive coordinator back in 2019. You know, the early years of Baker Mayfield. I don't want to rehash that. It makes my heart do palpitations a little bit. Get the defibrillator. But how do we feel about Jim Schwartz? Do you think he has the advantage? Would you be happy, down to your tootsie toes, if you wake up in the morning and you see Jim Schwartz is now your new head coach for the Cleveland Browns? Or would you want to dive out of a window, tied up and blindfolded, if Jim Schwartz was named the new head coach for the Cleveland Browns? Let me know right now. He knew the minute he left, he was going to New York. Exactly, like he probably knew what he wanted, and the Browns weren't near whatever that was, and the Giants were. We didn't even get to interview him. I like the idea of finding a young, talented offensive coach, matching him with Jim Schwartz, head coach. The Browns are a community college level team, and he wanted to coach an NFL team. Wrong move. I think he's talking about Harbaugh there. Shots fired at the Browns, a community level team. It's kind of harsh. Not Harbaugh happy, but way better than other choices. Let's bring up, somebody talked about, I think it was Steve. He talked about Freddie Kitchens. And I seen the stat here. And going through my information, I seen the stat. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Promoting from within your organization. The last time the Browns did this, it was Freddie Kitchens. What up, Cody? How you doing? Do we all remember Freddie Kitchens? If you ain't wearing orange and brown, you don't matter. Freddie Kitchens. The last time the Browns promoted from within their organization. The first year, he was 6-10. Not too bad, but that was Freddie Kitchens. Other teams to do so. Gerard Mayo, remember him? Patriots coach before he got fired. Mike Vrabel in the building. He was 4-13. Antonio Pierce from the Raiders. Remember him? 4-13. Ben McAdoo, 13-15. He lasted 1.5 years. Frank Wright with the Colts, 6 years, 41, 43, and 1. So, just some numbers of coaches. There's more, but I'm not going to read all of them. Of coaches hired from within their organization. Now, all those I read, nobody has a winning record. Do you believe it is the best move when you're doing a hiring for a new coach to just hire from within? Or should the Browns hire a new coach outside of the organization? Let me know. What up, Cool Breeze? Don't remind me about Freddie. Good morning, Tina. I think I got everybody. I'm going to tell you this about Jim Schwartz. His head coaching pedigree resume is not good. I think he's 29-52. That was with Detroit. Now we can all say he could be better as a coach. The Detroit Lions weren't good back then. He wasn't handed the best opportunity. He did have Matthew Stafford. He did have Calvin Johnson. So he had some players. The Browns need to get Tomlin, have some control, and keep Schwartz. Mike Tomlin's not coaching. That's not an option. Unless Jimmy Haslam is one of those people that can talk you into things and say, listen, Tomlin, I know you don't want to coach, but here's a suitcase of money. Do you want to coach now? Give someone new, keep him on defense, give me a new offensive coach and a new head coach. We can only order from the menu, though. I like that, Stephanie. I like you said that. Let's talk about the menu. Let's talk about the menu of the Cleveland Browns. Speaking of that menu, so far, the Browns have interviewed Jim Schwartz, Todd Monken, Tommy Rees, Dan Pitcher, Bengals OC, Aiden Durd, Seahawks DC, Mike McDaniels, former Dolphins head coach, Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator, Nate Shilassi, I butchered that, Rams pass game coordinator, and the newest name that is taking over the land of coaching right now, offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jags, 30-year-old Grant Yadinsky. He was just interviewed on Saturday, 3-hour interview. People are loving this young man. People want him. Some people want the Browns to go and get him right now. Some people. So that's what's on the menu right now, Stephanie. That is everybody they have interviewed. Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz right now are the only two that have a second interview. Watch us hire Ryan Day. That's not going to happen. Ryan Day is not going to the Cleveland Browns. He will be the Ohio State coach for the foreseeable future. You like Mike Daniels? Okay. I'm going to tell you why, and this may be an unpopular opinion. This may get me beat up in the streets of Cleveland. I don't want Jim Schwartz as our head coach. And that's okay. It can get me booed. I want a young head coach. Okay? I don't want Todd Monken. I don't want Jim Schwartz. I want a young head coach. The Browns do not have, unfortunately, the chance to just have a bona fide coach come in, because our organization isn't known right now as a great organization. A big name coach just isn't coming to Cleveland. It's not happening. I want a young coach. I want somebody who is ready to take on an opportunity, like Sean McVay did with the Rams. Look at what he has become. Look what he is doing. Look what Ben Johnson is doing for the Bears. Look at what these coaches are doing. I want the Browns to take a chance, take a shot on a young, uprising coach. This is your chance right now to get someone who has no chance to say, you know what? I'm good on Cleveland. Let me go somewhere else and coach, because I have all of the clout to do that. Give me someone who is hungry to just get this head coaching opportunity and maybe, just maybe, can turn this franchise around. Because if you didn't know, right now, this franchise, it's not that good. And maybe, just maybe, we can find that diamond in the rough. No disrespect to Jim Schwartz. I like Jim Schwartz. I think he's a very good defensive coordinator. But that's where I want to keep him. I don't want him to be the head coach. Now, does it matter what I want? No. But that's what I want. I want a new, young, upcoming, uprising chance to be a superstar. That's not Todd Monken. That's not Jim Schwartz. When I talk about young and upcoming, they're already established and older. But maybe, just maybe, the Browns will put on their cap, their thinking cap, and go, you know what? Maybe we should go young. Are we hyped for Martin Emerson? I'm hyped for any player coming off an injury. I agree. Defense needs to get better. Jim needs to stay DC. Unfortunately, we are a dumpster fire again. No Daniels. Let's keep Schwartz as DC. I agree. Young coach, young offensive coordinator. As we're talking about that, I'm just going to keep it flowing. Do you want a fresh face as the coach of the Cleveland Browns? You know, we're keeping it on topic. Do you want to see a fresh face? Someone outside the building. Let me know. The Atlanta Falcons fans need to send a message to the owner because of what Stefanski did to Shedeur Sanders. Boycott the games because the NFL is playing in our face. Okay, number one. Listen, for people who just saw Kevin Stefanski in his last year in Cleveland, that is not fair to judge him off his last year in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski started off as a good football coach. He did. No matter what people want to say, he started off as a good football coach. He got the Browns to the playoffs 2 times. It's just, unfortunately, sometimes you need to change in a voice. I think the Atlanta Falcons are getting a good football coach. It was just time for a change. I think he'll do good things in Atlanta. I really do. And I wish him the best of luck. Yes, give me new coaches. Number 1, Penix Jr. Penix is going to have to stay healthy, though, for Atlanta. Bijan Robinson Jr., though, I tell you that. I tell you what, that guy right there, holy crap. Give me some of him. Yes, I would love to have a young coach. Yes, fresh face. I've been a fan since the 70s. Kev has a thing for lefties. What up, chat? What up, Django? I'm going to tell you this. You know who I want right now? I have jumped on the bandwagon of Grant Yudinski from Jacksonville. I was reading on Twitter, and I just, all of a sudden, jumped all over Grant Yudinski from Jacksonville. I took a look at Jacksonville's numbers from this year, from the offensive side of the ball, okay? From the offensive side of the ball. They were sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in points per game. 27.9. The Browns, as Browns fans, we would have jumped for joy to score 27 points in a game. A game. If we average that, holy crap. Lord help us. Yes. 27 points per game. They were 6th. They were 20th in rushing, 115 yards a game. 12th in passing, 222 yards a game. And they were 11th in total yards, 337 yards a game. Let me tell you, he's 30 years old. He would be the youngest coach in NFL history if the Browns pulled off this move for Grant Yudinski from the Jacksonville Jags, the 2025 offensive coordinator. He got them in the playoffs. They didn't lose their playoff game because they couldn't score the football. They lost their playoff game because they couldn't stop the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Their offense did their job. His first year as offensive coordinator, they went right back into the playoffs with Trevor Lawrence and the crew. I, right now, am on the bandwagon of Grant Yudinski. As of Friday evening, I went on the bandwagon. Now listen, Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think Cleveland is going to do Cleveland things. I think they're going to play it safe to the vest. And they're probably going to go with Jim Schwartz. I think that's probably what they're going to do. It's the Browns' things to do. Play it safe, close to the vest. But I'll tell you this. I think it's going to be a mistake to play it safe. You have a chance to bring someone young. Yes, he doesn't have head coach background. He doesn't have the history of being a head coach. He's going to have mistakes if he was to become a head coach. But to have a 30-year-old, a young man, that would bring and infuse an energy into the building. I always bring up Sean McVay. What he has done from the Rams culture. They are now a bona fide winning franchise. They have won a Super Bowl. And they have a chance right now, if they beat the Bears, to go to the NFC Championship again and be one game away and getting back to the Super Bowl again. That'll be 3 times they've been to the Super Bowl under Sean McVay. I'm telling you right now, I'm all on Grant Udinski. Out of all the people they have hired, as what Stephanie said, on the Browns menu. Now, I'm not talking about coaches. That's not even a chance. That's not on the menu. I'm talking about on the menu. Give me Grant Udinski. I am convinced. Give me Grant. But will it happen? No, it's not. Because the Browns are going to do Browns things. Poor Falcons fans. ATL, make it make sense. You replaced your coach with someone who had a worse record than the guy you fired over the last 2 years. Good luck. Now, that's a good point, Django. I don't think Raheem Morris should have got fired. That's a good point. Now, if you want to talk to me about that, that's a good discussion to have. Why did we fire Raheem Morris? For what? That's a good question there. Now that I like. Yes, Grant Udinski is going to be Schwartz and OC. McDaniel as OC. Don't know much about him, but I'm loving what I'm hearing. But with no O-line, it don't matter. What up, Connor? Mary Kay is leaning Udinski. And when that happens, he will be fired. And then there goes a defense. Flores. Who's going to get fired? Harry. When you say what happens? Flores is not an option, JV Praise. He's not even on the menu. Now, I like Brian Flores, but he hasn't even been brought in for an interview. So he's not on the menu. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not on the menu. You know when you go to a restaurant and let's say I go to Red Lobster and I'm going to eat. I only can get what's on the menu. Yeah, let me get your Big Mac. Wait a minute, sir. This is Red Lobster. So what? I want a Big Mac. Sir, you only can get what's on the menu. If they hire Udinski, they'll keep Schwartz as DC and assistant coach. Kevin will win a Super Bowl in Atlanta. And the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl this year. How'd that work out for you, Jeff? Where are your Steelers? What kind of comment is that? And the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl this year. How'd that work out for you, Jeff? Huh? Where are the Steelers at? Where are they? The ATL post was from Miss Django. I can't take the credit. Well, tell Miss Django I said, hey. Oh, Jim, if he gets the job, you're saying he's going to get fired. Really? You think Jim will get fired that fast? Okay. Well, I do believe Jim is going to get the job, but I pray that the Browns go with Grant Udinski. I think when you have a chance, because the Browns, no matter what we believe about the Cleveland, no matter, you can have all the faith in the world in your team, in your organization. You can be the most loyal Browns fan in the world. But you got to have common sense sometimes, and you have to look in the mirror. The Cleveland Browns, currently constructed, will never land a big-time coach in Cleveland until things change. It's not going to happen. You're not getting the Harbaughs. You're not going to get a Tomlin. The top names, when they get fired, they're not coming to Cleveland. They want no parts of it. So how do you change that? If you go and get somebody who's never been a head coach, who wants to prove himself, this is your chance to do that. Jim Schwartz, I like Jim Schwartz, but I've seen him as a head coach. I've seen it. I have seen this story already. I have read that book from beginning to end. Todd Monken, no thank you. I don't want Todd Monken. He's old. Yes, I am discriminating against old people right now when it comes to coaching. Give me a young guy who wants to prove what he can do and build around him. If the Browns don't make Jim head coach, does someone else try to grab him away from us? That's a good question. I heard Baltimore. There were rumors Baltimore were interested in Kevin Stefanski and Jim Schwartz. Baltimore is still looking for a coach after firing John Harbaugh. Here's why I'm not worried about Jim Schwartz going to Baltimore. I just don't believe after you go from John Harbaugh, you go to Jim Schwartz, because his head coaching pedigree isn't the greatest in the world. The resume is not the greatest. The pressure that next coach from Baltimore has is immense. They went to the playoffs every year, as long as Lamar was healthy. I don't believe they'll get Jim Schwartz. Does it mean I'm right? No. What do you guys think? Do you think Baltimore would hire Jim Schwartz to replace John Harbaugh? It's not going to be easy replacing John Harbaugh at all. Does Jim get mad and decide he won't put... No, listen. Jim Schwartz knows the game. He's been around the block. He knows how this works. They're going to take the best man for the position. And if you're coaching men, you're not going to sabotage because your feelings are hurt. Well, I'm not going to coach now because they didn't pick me. That was 2012, though, Corey. That was his first head coaching job. He's progressed since then. And you know what? You might be right, Django. You might be right. Maybe, just maybe, Jim Schwartz may be a way better coach now, 14 years later. But guess what? I don't want to know. I want somebody young, upstart. And this is mean. And that's okay. I just don't want an old head coach at this point. That's not on my bingo card. If the concept is hire new blood and rebuild, the only way through the draft with picks, who you trading, who's offer. I didn't say rebuild. Who said rebuild? I didn't say I wouldn't rebuild. I just said I want a young coach. I didn't say rebuild anything. I did not say rebuild. Not one thing about word. I said I wouldn't rebuild our team. I just said I want a young coach. I didn't say I wouldn't rebuild at all. I don't want to rebuild nothing. Our defense is set. Baltimore is going for San Francisco's defensive coach, Robert Saleh. I agree he's a better coach. The Browns won't let Schwartz go to be a coordinator for another team because he's still under contract. They will let him go for promotion. Young and upstart can often mean unstable and erratic. It could. It could, but it also could mean destined for greatness as well. Destined for great. Even Kevin Stefanski, right? When he came into Cleveland, how old was Kevin Stefanski when he came to Cleveland? Late 30s? Maybe? When he came to Cleveland? How old is Kevin Stefanski? Let me Google Kevin right? Kevin Stefanski. Let's Google old Kevin. Kevin Stefanski, our favorite coach. Kevin Stefanski. How old is Kevin? Kevin Stefanski. How old is he? 43. So he was 37 when he was Cleveland's head coach. That's not bad at all. That's a nice age. He was 37 when he became the Cleveland head coach. Nice little age there. What up, Mike? Imagine us losing Jim to another team. We would be so screwed. Browns are young, need a young coach to match the enthusiasm of the players. I think the only real chance Schwartz becoming a head coach is in Cleveland. No other team is taking him as a head coach, maybe a DC job. Screwed up not taking Harbaugh. You can't take someone that doesn't interview for you, Mike. You can't screw up something that nobody interviews you. He only interviewed for one team and then took the job. You can't screw it up if you don't get an interview. You can't screw it up. Corey, how did you not get that job at Best Buy? You screwed up. I didn't even get an interview. I didn't get a call. I can't screw up an interview I don't get. You can't screw up something you don't get. He didn't even give him a chance. He didn't give anybody a chance. But the Giants, he knows where he wanted to go. He already had it set and stoned. Giants, baby. Jackson Dart. 5 years, $100 million. Please get prime time. Okay. I'm going to start reading dumb comments. I think I am. I'm going to start reading dumb comments. Prime time. Get out of here. How is the Steelers doing? You didn't answer my question. Offer him more than he wanted. Once again, you cannot offer anybody something if you don't get an interview. How do you offer anybody anything if they won't interview with you? Hello? Oh, we can't even get him on the phone to offer him anything. You can't miss out on something if they don't give you a chance. And we have to be realistic. If we really be real with ourselves, we didn't have a chance at John Harbaugh. It sounds good in theory, but we never had a chance at John Harbaugh. He was not coming to Cleveland. It wasn't happening. Prime time. You talking about a drink? Yes, he is very good in Madden, Spencer. Ultimate Team, he's very good in Madden. One of the best cards. Get your primetime card in Madden Ultimate Team. One of the best cards you can get. Like 98 speed, good man coverage. The press should be better. I don't know why they don't put press on a primetime's card in Ultimate Team. It's weird. I don't know why they don't. You send Miles to his house, grab him, and throw him on a jet to come to Cleveland. That's called kidnapping. I don't know if you can kidnap people. We don't want Miles to go to jail. What up, D-Flat? How are you doing? What up, D-Flat? My last question for you, as we talk about kidnapping, do you think the Browns will draft another quarterback in the draft? Do you think they will? Listen, I have seen some dumb things in Browns history. Dante Moore playing in Oregon. He said, I'm going back after that bowl game he had. I don't blame him. Mendoza's going to the Jets. Who knows about Ty Simpson? I did read somewhere that the Browns could, on Bleacher Report, the Browns could draft a quarterback in the later rounds. Maybe so, maybe. What do you think? Do you think the Browns will draft another QB in this draft? Will they pull the trigger and draft another QB? Giving us Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, Deshaun Watson, and insert rookie quarterback. We're screwed at QB. I don't believe so. Depends on the coach. You have to give someone a whole year. Facts. Why are we screwed at QB? Stupidity. It would be very dumb if the Browns drafted a quarterback. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to answer my own question. They're not going to draft a quarterback. There's no way. No how. Okay. Stop that. There's not no way, no how. It's Cleveland. But I don't believe they will draft another quarterback. They have so many other needs now that they're pick 6 that they are not going to draft a quarterback, especially that the quarterback are weak in this draft. No matter how much people love Mendoza, after that, it's pretty uninspiring at the quarterback position in this draft. It would just be, I want to pick a quarterback to pick one if the Browns were to do that in this draft class. I think there's just too many things you have to fix on the offensive end. Receiver, line. David Njoku's probably not going to be here. So you go ahead and draft another tight end to back up Harold Fannin Jr. You can go that route. But quarterback should be the last thing they're thinking about. You got Deshaun Watson. You got Shedeur Sanders. You got Dylan Gabriel. Unless he goes to Atlanta with Kevin Stefanski, he's going to be on your roster. Nobody else wants him in the entire world. So you have 3 quarterbacks already. 1 veteran, 2 youngs. Let them compete. May the best winner play the entire year and then see what you have and go from there. They'll draft a QB from Vandy. Wait for 2 years. Take Sagan or Manning. They should both be elite level by then. Hey, Corey and Dog Check. This feels like the waiting room at the dentist office. What up? If they take, listen, I'm going to rethink my life. I seriously am. I am going to rethink my life if the Cleveland Browns draft another quarterback this draft. I really am. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get out a notepad, and I'm going to write down the pros and cons of my life. If the Browns draft another quarterback, because at this point, the Browns should be called the Cleveland quarterbacks, because all they do is draft quarterbacks. It's all they want to do. I promise you. I'm going to rethink my life. I'm going to do pros, and I'm going to do cons. All because them drafting a quarterback. This is what I'm going to do. I will crash out if they draft another quarterback in the 2026 draft come April. And then I'm going to go live and show you my pros and my cons to my life. All because Cleveland has taken me there. They better not. Grab a pen and paper and get started. I'm already a Texans fan. Don't know how much longer I can stay. I am rooting for the Texans to win it all because I like CJ Stroud, obviously. And I like DeMeco Ryans. You know, how old is DeMeco Ryans? I'm just Googling everybody's age now. DeMeco Ryans. How old is he? Because that guy is fun. 41-year-old DeMeco Ryans. If I could get you the perfect mold of a coach that I want around my players, is DeMeco Ryans. Have you seen the way his players react around their coach? They love DeMeco Ryans. If you haven't, watch a Texans game. Watch his emotion. Watch how he coaches his football team. If I could pick how I want my coach to act. Give me DeMeco Ryans. Now, we're talking about getting coaches that's not on the menu. Give me DeMeco Ryan right now. He has turned this Houston franchise around. Now all they do is go to the playoffs. The Houston playoff Texans. That's all they do. They got a tough matchup today. Now that's somebody I would get and kidnap, like you guys said, with Myles Garrett and throw them on the plane. Since 2000, they've had more coaches and QBs than any 5 teams combined. Corey's crash out will be on the clock with Cleveland in April. Chubb needs a ring. Chubb. I agree. Nick Chubb definitely needs a ring. And DeMeco, they're doing this with no Joe Mixon. Nico Collins is now out. And Tank Dell has been out. All their offensive weapons, and they're still here. DeMeco Ryans, shout out to you. Fix the O-line, fix the receiver room. Let Shedeur play all season and the entire season. And if you still need a QB, get him in 27. I agree. And listen, man. This infatuation with wanting to draft quarterbacks is why the Browns suck so bad. It really is. It's why the Browns suck so bad. Their infatuation with wanting to get quarterback after quarterback after quarterback is ridiculous. Just try and develop the ones you have. I don't think Flores was an option, Cool Jedi. I don't think the Browns ever seen Brian Flores as an option. He was never on the menu. Unfortunately. So I think what we have to look at here is, before I head off here, before I leave, is who gets a second interview besides Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz? As we leave you with this. When it comes to the decision by the Cleveland Browns, will they make one this week? First of all, depending on the second interviews, I think you take your time. And secondly, if none of these, Grant Udinski doesn't get an interview, Mike McDaniel, Jesse Minter, Dan Pitcher, if none of these guys get a second interview, then we know it's down to Jim Schwartz and Todd Monken when we wait to see who is our next head coach. I don't think a decision's made this week. I think they're going to take their time to hire the next head coach. And I think that's the right thing to do. Weigh out your options, Cleveland. Don't rush. Please. What? They just offered Grant. Anthony, don't lie to me. Anthony, don't you play with my emotions, Anthony. Are you serious? Anthony, don't play with my emotions. They offered Grant Udinski a second interview. When did this happen? I hope they take their time. Anthony, don't play with my emotions. If they offered Grant Udinski a second interview, ladies and gentlemen, we got action. We have action. You're telling me there's a chance. Anthony's got me excited. But I don't trust Cleveland to do the smart thing. If this is true, and they offered him a second interview, we have action, ladies and gentlemen. Grant Udinski, Todd Monken, and Jim Schwartz. The second person. Where are y'all getting this from? Like Django said, who is saying they got a second interview? Who is saying it? Anthony and D Flat. Who is saying they got a second interview? Grant Udinski. Shefty? Big dog Shefty? Oh, if it comes from Shefty, listen, me and AAA, Patreon extraordinaire. He's scrolling across the bottom. AAA knows my rule. We've chatted for a while, and he's probably watching this. He's going to laugh. If it don't come from Shefty or Ian Rappaport, most times I don't care. Because you can have Bob the Builder in his basement typing up an article saying whatever. Okay? But when it comes from Shefty, put it to the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited. Oh! We got business, folks. When Shefty tweets it, take it to the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 minutes ago, Anthony, you get a dog check.
Dog check! Dog check!
D Flat, you as well.
Dog check!
Let's go. Via Adam Scheffner, Grant Udinski has just got a second interview, and we got action. Action Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Schwartz, Todd Monken, and Grant Udinski now have second interviews. AAA just chimed in. He knows when it's Shefty, I know that it's true. Oh, it's true. Kurt Angle style. So Todd Monken, Jim Schwartz, and Grant Udinski now have second interviews with the Cleveland Browns. So those are your three probably leading vote getters for your head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I am all in. Listen, you can say the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator, Grant Udinski, Cheryl, that is who I'm talking about. You can say I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. You can say I'm prisoner of the moment. That's fine. You can say he has no experience. You can say you need to go with somebody who's been there before. I say, give me lemons. I'll give you a large sun kiss. What does that mean? It means I want to be different. That's what that means. Give me Grant Udinski right now. His interview had to be off the chain. That's what that tells me. That he's got a second interview. They were impressed. We've got to go young. 30 years old. He probably plays Madden still. I'm all in. I am all in. Give me Grant Udinski. He took the Chargers offense to another level this year. They went to the playoffs. They didn't lose. Like I said, they didn't lose because of their offense. They lost because their defense couldn't stop Josh Allen, and Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over 4 times. I'm in. I'm in. I am in. There's nothing nobody can say to take my joy away until the Browns hire Todd Monken. And then my joy is gone. And I will once again bring out my notepad and do my pros and cons of my life. Because the Cleveland Browns suck my joy away all the time. Because it's what they do. Okay. Browns will probably hire the coach from Bishop Watterson High School. I think that interview says it off. Give me Grant out of them 3. Is he bringing Trevor and Travis? Well, Travis didn't play half the season, so it doesn't matter. He was hurt. He had nothing to do with the success this year. What are we talking about? He was hurt. He was hurt. What does that got to do with anything? He was hurt half the year. He was hurt. What are we doing here? Don't try to rain on my parade, Cool Breeze. He was hurt half the year. Now, Trevor Lawrence, no, he's not bringing Trevor Lawrence. We don't want Trevor Lawrence. I don't want Trevor Lawrence. I believe in my quarterback right now. I am a believer. Unlike most people out there in Browns land, I am a believer in my quarterback if you give him a chance to succeed. If you give him a chance to succeed, I believe. Because I always believe in Browns players until they give me a reason not to. I believe in my quarterback if you give him a chance to succeed. Give me Grant Yudenski and a chance. That's all I need. But it doesn't matter, folks. We all know what's going to happen here. Todd Monken will be our next head coach, and I will cry on the stream. For them to come in, put it on the board. For them, actually, next stream, I'll probably bring the board back. It depends. Just give it to Reeston. At least he's called plays. He's never called plays. He doesn't have to call plays. He doesn't have to call plays. Everybody complains when Kevin Stefanski called plays and be the head coach at the same time. He doesn't have to call plays. If he wants to, fine, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't want to. Is it possible that Schwartz is the guy and now choosing between Monken? Hold on. Is it possible that Schwartz is the guy and now choosing between Monken and Yudenski for the new OC? I don't think, JT Ohio, I could be wrong. I don't think that Yudenski is going to leave Jacksonville to go to Cleveland to do the same thing. That's just me. Why would I leave Jacksonville, the better team, the better situation, to do the same thing? If I'm going to leave, I'm going up. A promotion. I'm not going lateral, especially Cleveland. I'm a Browns fan saying that, right? If I'm him, if I'm going to Cleveland, I'm going to be the head coach. I ain't going to be your offensive court. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's what I would say. What are we talking about? If I was Grant Yudenski, you want me to be your OC? No. But that's my thinking in that, JT Ohio. I don't think he's going to come to be in the same position he is in Jacksonville, just a lateral move. He's only coming to Cleveland to be the head coach. Stop it, people. The head coach doesn't have to call plays. That's the offensive coach's job to call plays. If they hire Monken, I am done. Yeah, listen, the head coach doesn't have to call plays if they don't want to. If that's not their specialty. If he's an offensive tactician, he can have his hands in the offensive strategy, the offensive game plan, and then the offensive coordinator can call the plays. He doesn't have to call plays. His job is to coach the team. And I still take it back to Ryan Day. Ryan Day, when he gave up play calling duties to Chip Kelly, that's when Ohio State was at its best. He was able to do the other things. Delegate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head out of here. The donation train was just not there today. Makes me kind of sad. So we'll see what happens in our coaching search. I am very, very excited for the thought process that we may get Grant Yadinsky, but it's down to 3. But that's all I got. If they hire Monken, I am done. I feel you, AAA. That's the least person I want is Todd Monken. You can go ahead and pet a grizzly bear with a napkin if you get Todd Monken. No disrespect to Todd Monken. But that's going to be it for me. I am out of here. Appreciate all of you for coming through. You guys know the drill. Until next time, it's all... Whoa! Django with a $40 donation as I was out of here. Met the goal. D flat. Going to be a rough year next year. AAA, $10 donation as the train was just dead to water. It gets the defibrillator at the end. Greatly appreciated you guys. Thank you so much.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money.
Money talk.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. D flat. Let's hope it is not a rough year next year. Let's hope not. And Grant Yadinsky, we trust. Train's running late today. We'll see what happens, y'all. Listen, whenever we get a new coach, we'll talk about it. But until next time, you guys know the drill. Greatly appreciate it. It's all love. Peace.